Welcome to a different look paper round today here on Adam FC, everybody. As you can see, walking outside Old Trafford, I got a presentation this morning, but I want to talk about the papers, the stories going around, of course, before I go inside Old Trafford. Feels what? A little bit upbeat around Old Trafford. Feels a little bit like there's optimism in the air. Anyway, is there any optimism with England? Because that's all anyone in the papers is talking about, and that's miserable friendly against New Zealand. Look, I'm not being downbeat about England. I don't want to sound miserable. The World Cup is coming. Everyone's exciting, but these friendly games are always like this. Crap pitches, players just getting back off an exciting season or a miserable season, trying to find their feet. Some players that are playing are not even going to the World Cup, and it just is what it is. 1-0 win against New Zealand. No one's going to get excited about it. No one's going to think that this is it. No one's going to say that this is England ready for the World Cup. In fact, I've watched a few of the other games as well now, and there's not many other national teams that are looking on point at the moment. Tuchel talking yesterday about England not being fully at it, better in the second half. The pitch wasn't great, and of course, wanting to find his players. Story coming out of it again, like Marcus Rashford looking better than Anthony Gordon. I mean, just to bring the United element in on this here again, like how Barcelona are not seeing what everybody else is seeing and not paying that fee for Marcus Rashford, that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that alone, again, just watching the way that he plays, watching everything that is going on at Manchester United now, with the moves that we're making in the transfer window, with everything else that's going on positively. Marcus Rashford's probably the only real negative going around Man United at the moment. It's like, I can't understand it. I can't understand why Barcelona are not seeing what everybody else is seeing, and that Anthony Gordon just isn't as good a player as Marcus Rashford. And yet again, that is for me, and you all know what I'm like with Marcus Rashford and my opinion of him. And yeah, I don't get it. But it'd be interesting to see who plays ahead of who when it comes to the World Cup. In Marcus Rashford's position, Anthony Gordon getting in. Which way would you go? I mean, you get into the comment section. I mean, we're opening this up. This is obviously England. It's a little bit different now. The summer's going to start looking more World Cupish when we do these paper rounds. So it's going to be interesting to see what everybody says once we actually start getting playing and see how England fare. But no strikers for England past, obviously, Harry Kane again. Jude Bellingham looks like he's got the bit between his teeth turning up for England. That would be good for us as well. And that's all positive also on that. Rio and Gamoa getting his cap and having a decent game as well. Have we got enough in that squad? Have we got enough? I mean, would Gamoa do a better job than Anthony Gordon or Marcus Rashford or any other wingers? Do you know what I mean? Because some of these wingers were going, yeah, they're more established players and they can actually go into that World Cup knowing that they've got a little bit more experience. But you're just going to have that player sat on the bench and is coming on to have a bit of an impact at some point in that game. Would it be better to do something different and maybe just throw a player on like Gamoa who can run at a player, do something different and that nobody knows about? That's another thing as well with the World Cup. Taking the odd player that nobody knows about. I mean, everyone knows all of England's players. They all play against each other. They're all playing at a high level. So preparing for an England game or preparing to play against England is quite straightforward. Maybe take someone who's a little bit different, who's going to do something different that you don't know about that much, and that might give you that little bit of extra that little bit of extra pizzazz, that killer instinct that the other players who have got pressure on them going into this World Cup can't perform with. You know what I'm talking about? Like, literally, we are focusing now football-wise on the pitch on England, and it's going to come into focus on Thomas Tuchel and the decisions that he makes. So I think it is going to be really, really interesting now to know how he sees this team playing against these elite teams when it gets to the nitty-gritty and the latter stages of this tournament. Because let's be honest, no one really cares about the group stages. They're all crap. It's the excitement of the World Cup coming in, and I can see people talking about that, and I can see it already starting to build up in the newspapers as well. But honestly, I do think that it's going to be all about what England do in the latter stages. Everyone will get through. It's impossible not to get through the group stages now, the way that FIFA has set this tournament up. It's really, really poor. That I know everyone deserves a chance in on the World Cup. And let me know, do you like the new format? Do you think that it works with having more teams in it? I'm just worried more about injuries. Thomas Tuchel actually said that as well, didn't he? He said, like, I'm just glad that we haven't got any injuries. I mean, God, You're actually looking at this and going that and praying that your players stay fit. And I've seen a few other players drop down with injuries as well. I think Wesley had an injury, of course, for Brazil. Ancelotti was talking about that. But I think this World Cup now, when you look at it, I think it's all coming down to the big teams, like, funnily enough, the big four. I think you're looking like Argentina, Brazil, France, England, Portugal, Germany. I know I said 6 there, but I think the top 4, in my opinion anyway, you're probably looking at the Frances of this world, the Spain maybe. I forgot about Spain completely, but yeah, in terms of any other news at the moment, it's all on the World Cup. There is some transfer news, however, in the papers today, and that is because there is obviously this scramble for midfielders. But one name that is in the morning papers more than any other that I've noticed this morning is Morgan Gibbs-White again. Morgan Gibbs-White this time on Arsenal's radar. Man United following him closely as well. And that is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. I mentioned it on FUTV this morning about there potentially being some kind of release clause in Morgan Gibbs-White's contract. It's going to be interesting now with the players that are not at the World Cup that come into focus in the papers as well in the transfer news. Will the World Cup stop transfers happening? I don't think it's going to stop the noise. I think you're going to get plenty of talk about that, and we'll have it covered obviously between Adam FC and FUTV, of course. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if there is any movement for players that are in the World Cup, or we get any stories on that. Morgan Gibbs-White, obviously, I think will feel hard done to not getting in this Manchester United team. Not the Man United team, you see where my head is at, can't you? Being outside Old Trafford, but in this England squad for the World Cup. I think he's probably the one that could probably feel more hard done to than anybody else. And I think he's got every right to feel a little bit miffed off that he's not in this squad. I mean, not even in this sort of like group before the World Cup, where obviously we're seeing the likes of Ingemar get his chance and things like that. I actually feel quite sorry for him, but will he be on the move this summer? I think that's something that we're going to keep an eye on over the coming weeks as well. But personally, I think with Marinakis and everything that's going on with him at Nottingham Forest, obviously Elliot Anderson, this week we were talking about that crazy offer that's going to have to come in for Elliot Anderson from anybody. Manchester City, obviously, more than likely at this moment in time, the only team that's going to offer that kind of money. But I don't see anybody paying what he wants. Could he actually upset the apple cart and stop any of these big moves happening? Could Marinakis, being the way he is, stop transfers actually happening this summer? That's another interesting one I'm going to keep an eye on, because like we said, players at the World Cup, can't see Elliot Anderson getting any sort of like movement in that story until after the World Cup now, although this is a big week coming up. And Romano has also hinted as well at different things that are going to be going on in this next week before the World Cup kicks off. Is it the last chance for anybody to get any transfer business done or any permanent deals over the line or anything like that? We'll be keeping an eye on it here on Adam FC throughout the week, so make sure that you stay tuned, hit that subscribe button as well, and I'll keep you up to date with everything else going on. I'll see you all in the next video, everybody.